When I come to your city, I'm a new score. Broke your high score soon as I step through the door. Tryna stack my paper up like a bookstore. Money kissing each other like a rock and roll tour. When I come to your city, I'm a new score. Broke your high score soon as I step through the door. Tryna stack my paper up like a bookstore. Money kissing each other like a rock and roll.
Hey, Tyler.
Hey, Piet. Hey, Piet.
Welcome to the New Score podcast. My name is Pat. This is my co-host, TYG, Tyler Pratt. Tyler, how we be doing?
We're doing. Yeah, we're doing. We're fucking doing.
I want to start this episode off by saying Merry Christmas, folks. 'Tis the season. It's right around the corner, Tyler. We're ready to roll. We appreciate y'all for listening. This is the season of giving, and we hope that we give you a phenomenal podcast today as you listen. We appreciate the support. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Spotify. Get at us on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you again, and Merry Christmas. Tyler, anything you want to add?
Cheers. And it came and went. I did have something, but it went again. It'll come back.
Tyler, you better get your shit together because today we got a lot to talk about. We got some Say It and Grade It Christmas edition tonight. We got some NFL, latest in the NFL. We're going to cover what happened last week, talk about what's going on, what's going into this week. I want to do something first, though, Tyler. You know, normally when something happens, you know, you lose somebody or somebody loses something, you have a moment of silence for that person. I want to start this episode off tonight by talking about Brandon Staley finally getting fired. So instead of a moment of silence for Brandon Staley, Tyler, we're going to have a moment of celebration. So let's celebrate.
Come here, doggy.
Goodbye, Brandon Staley. Goodbye. It's happened, Tyler.
Peace.
Goodbye. Sayonara.
See you, buddy.
You're fired.
Fucking get out of here.
So I was at a concert Thursday night. I was at the Kevin Gates concert here in Tampa.
That's right.
And I look at my phone. It was right around halftime. I look at my phone and I saw it was 42-0 Raiders beating the Chargers. And I was like, dude, fire him at halftime. Fire him at halftime.
That would have been the ultimate statement.
To Aiden O'Connell, and they didn't even have Josh Jacobs.
I mean, if there's ever been a time like we've seen some players walk out on games, imagine Staley just fucking doesn't come out of the tunnel halftime. He just fucking went right, took an Uber back to the hotel.
For anybody who's listened to this podcast in the past, you've probably heard us talk about, you know, what our thoughts on Brandon Staley and how we actually had a "You're Fired" segment where I went on a rant about why he deserves to be fired. He deserved to be fired when they blew that lead in Jacksonville in the playoffs, in my opinion. You shouldn't even gotten it this year. But let's get into it. For those of you that don't know, Tyler's Cowboys played in Buffalo last week and got stomped. And your boy, TYG, actually went to that game in Buffalo. So, Tyler, I want to give you the mic here and talk to me about your experience Sunday in Buffalo at that game.
Well, I realize there's a lot of fake Bills fans up here because I didn't know one Bills fan going besides, the people who like to just go and get fucked up, right? So I actually took my dad to the game. So it was kind of laid back. Every other football game I've ever been to, especially in Buffalo, there's just been a heavy, amount of tailgating and alcohol, just, kind of just getting fucked up and being reckless. But this time we drove up there. It was a rainy day. It was about 48 degrees. It was right just under 50. All game, rainy. It was a 4:25 game. So, we even brought a football, throw it around, brought a cooler full of beer, got some subs. We wanted to, be able to hang out outside. Instead, we had to sit in the truck and eat half a sub, drink beer inside the truck, and then walk about a half mile to the game, parking. That's how it is out in Buffalo, though. There's really other than a few lots, which are absurd. Bro, Dallas, when we were getting parking for the garages out there, $60-$70, right? And it was a 30-second walk to the game. All we had to do was walk down the escalators, which isn't much of a walk, crosswalk, hit the arena. Buffalo, and there's other stadiums. This isn't a knock, but the lots there, when I was looking at the game or the parking passes on Game Time, not sponsored by them, by the way, $220 was the cheapest. They had 2 lots left, charging $220 for parking, bro. Absurd. But either way, so we walked about a half mile to the game, got there a little early. NFL stadiums, for people who've never been to one, they don't open the doors until 2 hours prior to kickoff. So you can stand outside of the arena all day, but you can't get in until 2 hours before kickoff. Open the door. So we stood outside in the rain for a little bit, finally got in, and then just drying off. We had ponchos at least, but just drying off and drinking a couple beers. We couldn't even really go to our seats because there was no point in getting rained on. It was just cold, rainy. The game it sucked, man. The game stunk. There was good energy there. There was a lot of Cowboys fans, actually. There was a lot. So we were making a lot of noise early. By early, I mean before the game started. Not much noise to make after kickoff. So, did you want to go over the whole game right now, or just how bad? Do you want to know how bad my experience was?
You've been to a couple shitty football games this year. That's what I mentioned the other night to somebody. I was like, damn, he went to Dallas, saw the Cowboys blow out the Rams, and then he went to Buffalo and saw the Bills blow out the Cowboys.
Yep.
No, go ahead.
And we'll get right into it. So, just to start off, they didn't match Buffalo's energy. Buffalo was very high energy. I mean, call it home field advantage, whatever. They were at a different level than Dallas was. First half penalties was really what killed Dallas. That roughing the passer on the Bills' first drive. They would have had to settle for a field goal, but instead they got it at the 1 yard, 2 yard line or whatever, and ended up punching it in. And then next drive, it was another drive. There was a roughing a personal foul, unnecessary roughness, which was on a third down. They would have had to punt. They end up scoring on that drive. On their own drive, they went down and they had a first down at almost near the red zone, got called back because of holding. I think run play blown up and then sacked the next play. Dead drive, no points. And it was just that was the whole first half. Dallas was still going to be down, but it wouldn't have been as bad as it was if they could have limited the penalties. But they just played terrible. And then after that, it was just, like I said, they didn't match Buffalo's energy. Buffalo bullied them. They just fucking bullied them. I had to leave in the third quarter, end of the third, because the rain started to pick up, and it was just no fun. I had this chick in front of me who every time the Bills scored or just did something good, she's like, come on. I'm sorry. No, come on. I'm like, all right.
The worst.
No, this one guy, I think he was deaf, he was being a dick. One dude threw something. People wanted to fight him, but this woman was like, don't do it. But they didn't do it.
I feel like every Bills game I went to, I've seen at least 5 fights in every game.
Luckily, this one I didn't. I was sitting with apparently a couple Section 312 legends. These dudes were fucking, after like every series, they're looking back like they had fans sitting 5 rows behind them. That's how far up we were, by the way. There's only like another couple rows behind us, so they're like turning around, like pointing up to the top. And it's like, I think these dudes were brothers. You had the Bills fan who was deaf, who just kept, as soon as he walked up to his seats, this is what he did. Middle finger to every Cowboys fan, because there were so many. He was just middle fingering all of us and smiling while he did it. He's like, yeah. And then he didn't talk. He didn't say a word the whole time. I'm like, I don't know. I thought, Dad, I think this guy's deaf, so I can't talk shit about him. And then, but he ended up being really on key. Either way, he did the whole hey. So, it was bad.
Let's go Buffalo.
You
probably heard that
Buffalo.
so much.
And every time I had that chick turn around for a high five.
My takeaways from that game, though, same kind of words I was going to use, is Buffalo just bullied them. Up front, it looked like the Bills were the better team, and that doesn't happen in Dallas very often, where they're beat up front on both sides of the ball. But that's what I saw in that game, and it was just the Bills doing whatever they wanted. Like James Cook, hello. We've been talking about it for 2 months on this podcast about what James Cook can do if you just give him the opportunity. Let that line eat in the run game instead of sitting back, pass blocking all game with Josh Allen running around. Like, how smooth was that for the Bills as an offense to just be like, all right, Josh, we got you today. You don't have to be Superman today. We got you. Like, that's what your offense is capable of. If you can get the run game going, and now we see that. They look like a wagon right now, Tyler. They look like an absolute wagon.
But can we touch on something I was talking to you earlier in the week that I just don't understand? And because I talked about the line and how fishy it was. I'm like, I don't understand. Why is Dallas 2-point dogs going in? Like, yeah, no, they haven't really beat many real good teams, but they just beat the Eagles, and they handled them pretty well. And the Eagles were just lost only the week before that to the Niners, after, coming off a really tough stretch. So they don't have many impressive wins on the year, and all of their wins against bad teams, they blow them out. I get it. And they only had a couple real tough games, and they lost those besides the Eagles win. But Buffalo wasn't playing they were playing a lot better. Don't get me wrong, but they weren't playing that great, and they just barely beat the Chiefs. With obviously the now infamous offsides call on Kadarius Toney is the reason why they won. Well, possibly the reason why they won the game. But either way, going into that, I know they were at home, but to be 2.5-point favorites open the line at 2.5-point favorites, I'm like, I don't get it. Because then you have Dak Prescott, who going into the game was the front runner apparently for the MVP. How is that team that's been averaging 42 points a game over the last 6 games, 2.5-point underdogs, going to a just over 500 team? So either way, I thought the line was fishy. I bet big on the boys and found out why the line was fishy.
It's a bad day for you, buddy.
It was not. Yeah, it was not good. It was not good.
But going forward to this week, Buffalo is playing the Chargers should take care of business. No problem there. And then the Cowboys playing Miami this week.
Yes, at Miami.
Huge game.
2-point underdogs.
Hopefully Tyreek is fully back and out there for Miami, because that'll be
He's going to kill us.
Fun to watch.
He's going to kill us.
He might. But let's get into a segment that we like to call It's Shagadelic, baby.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Tyler, it's Shagadelic, baby. Who you got?
Well, I have it's a little I don't even say it's controversial, but it's Mr. Ja Morant, everyone. That's my Shagadelic pick of the week. He first game back. They're playing the Pelicans. Pelicans have been very solid this year. He comes back and he scores the game-winning bucket. Hits the little floater between two defenders and right at the buzzer to win the game. First game back off a suspension. He has 34 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds in 35 minutes. And then they were also down 10 points in the fourth quarter. So they came back. They came back in that one, and just really very impressive to be out for this many games. I think it's been close to 30 games now, right? In the season, he's been suspended for quite a while. But don't get me wrong, in my opinion, incredible talent. Stupid decisions, make some really dumb decisions, and well documented. He's got to get better friends. We all know that. But a hell of a basketball player. Ja Morant, you're Shagadelic, by the way. Yeah.
People used to tell me I needed to get better friends because I was friends with you in high school. I remember that.
Fucking haters, dude. Yeah. Well, yeah. No comment.
Like Truesdale said, you get a bad rep, just like Tony Romo.
He did. He did say that. He did. I thought that was hilarious, by the way.
My It's Shagadelic, baby, though, goes out to the homie that plays right up the road from me. That's Baker Mayfield, quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's Shagadelic, baby, because Tyler, Lambeau Field has never seen a perfect passer rating. Baker Mayfield, 22 for 28, 381 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Passer rating, 158.3. Absolutely lit the Packers on fire and got another dub for the Bucs, who are now sitting in first place of the NFC South. They control their own destiny here. Big game against the Jags coming up. But I got to give it up to Baker Mayfield because this is a dude a couple years ago gets thrown out of Cleveland, goes to Carolina on a terrible team, gets thrown out of Carolina. Sean McVay brings him in, and he plays the last stretch of the season for the Rams, and he looked like he could be that dude. Credit to McVay for giving him that opportunity, because I'm not sure Baker Mayfield would be a starting quarterback this season if it weren't for McVay giving him that chance last season. So that was awesome to see.
Yeah,
I've always liked Baker. I've never understood some of the hate that he's gotten, but
I used to hate him.
Did you?
Hate on him.
I didn't like him in Oklahoma when he beat Ohio State and then ran with the flag. Yeah, that was something that rubbed me the wrong way. But as far as in the NFL, I mean, I always appreciated Baker and his toughness more than anything. And his teammates love him. They love to go to war with that dude. You could just see it, like the chemistry that team has. A team that nobody expected anything from this season. Yeah. It's like they started off the season really hot, and then they faded away, and it's like, all right, yep, there we know. There's the Bucs. There's the Bucs everybody expected. But now you're seeing this late surge by this team, and it's like Chris Godwin, who hasn't done much this season, had 10 catches for $155 on Sunday. Yeah. Like, if they can get him going with what we already know Evans can do,
dude.
Cade Otton's been a really good emergence at tight end for them. And then Rachaad White is starting to run the ball really well. And He's a guy that I wasn't a big fan of beginning of the season, but they're starting to get that run game going a little bit. The defense is what it is, but I think they can still make some stops in moments. Like if they could just get they're going to give up yards. That defense is going to give up yards, but if they can just limit points, like force field goals, play good red zone defense, I think this team can really make some noise. I really do. If Baker Mayfield continues to play like he is right now, go ahead.
Yeah, no, and Baker's, he played incredible. And like I said, I didn't hate him, but I hated on him because it was like the same old story with Baker every year. Like you said, he kind of gets off those good starts. The team gets off to a good start. And then he just starts playing Baker ball, where he was trying to be the hero and do a little too much. And, he kind of stunk in Cleveland. And then he went to Carolina.
For sure.
Right. He did have his moments. And then he went to Carolina. They stunk, which, by the way, think of that for a second. With Baker, Sam Darnold, not people aren't high on Sam Darnold, but Baker, with that offense, with DJ Moore and Christian McCaffrey, at least to start the year, they still weren't that good. You take those guys off the team, add Bryce Young, that's why they're so bad. But yeah, I mean, that's basically it. That's all I had to say. But the Bucs team, are they leading the division or tied?
Yeah, them and the Saints.
All right, so they're leading the division.
Saints playing the Rams tomorrow. Let's hope so.
No, so
but
bet big
Baker Mayfield. It's Shagadelic, baby. Yeah.
Oh shit. Yeah, my bad.
Tyler, let's get into some Say It and Grade It Christmas edition. Say It and Grade It, Tyler. Let's start it off with Christmas music.
I'm gonna give this a 2-part grade. It's a 7.5 for me. I think Christmas music, early December, say what you will, maybe it's a little too early, but when you first start hearing Christmas music, it kind of gets you in the spirit. And you got some real nice ones out there. You got Drummer Boy, maybe the GOAT of all Christmas songs. And then you listen to it for 25 straight days or close to 3.5 weeks. At that point, it then becomes a 5 for me. It's like, yeah, some of these are fucking bangers, but yeah, I gotta listen to them for a month straight. They get a little old. But then the next year comes around, you're like, hey, haven't heard this shit in 11 months. Fuck yeah. Then you listen to it for 3 weeks straight. So with me, the 10 to start and a 5 to end. So I meet in the middle at a 7.5. They grade it. Christmas music.
Yeah, some may call me a Grinch for this, but I'm going to go with a 2.
Ooh.
2 out of 10. Hate Christmas music, dude. Can't stand it. I hate how they start playing it before Thanksgiving even comes, and then even after Thanksgiving, like the whole month of December, you hear it. It's like, bro, I've been hearing these songs since I was a little kid. It might be, oh well, it's just this month. It's just this month. No, I don't want to listen to any of it.
That's actually a good point. They do play it just after Thanksgiving, or some people even start playing it before. So it is a whole month of hearing it before Christmas, and then you still hear it after Christmas. So it's like, it's a while. No, hold on.
It gets stuck in my head, bro. It just gets stuck in my head for like the whole night, and then can't escape it.
What's I'm curious though. You at least gave it a 2. So what are you rolling with though? What are the ones?
I gave it a 2 because Mariah Carey.
Mariah Carey, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I know I'm gonna be knowing the Mariah Carey on June 15th this year. Mariah, she's marrying Adam Carey, Mariah Carey. So yeah.
I just realized that, bro. That's wild. That's crazy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Good for her.
Exactly.
All right, that's it for Christmas music. Next up, Tyler, Say It and Grade It. I know you like your cocktails But let's talk about eggnog. Say it and grade it.
10. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Eggnog is elite. It is elite. There's a reason why you can only get it around Christmas. This shit is one of those things that you can only pick up in season, and you got to get it while it lasts. You can mix alcohol with it. It's nothing but you. A lot of people hate on cognac. Can't really mix cognac with a lot. Yeah, you got your like Henny Red Bulls. Maybe you can mix it with some Sprite or some Coke if you like Sprite or Coke. But Henny doesn't really mix well with that many things besides Red Bull or an energy drink. So, you know who told me to mix my Henny with eggnog? Sharon, my sweet dear mother, Sharon Pratt. Not to be mistaken with sweet dear Sharon Farrell. Sharon Pratt, she told me, she was like, why don't you pour that in the eggnog? And I was like, why would I do that? She was like, just try it. It's like, all right, fuck it. And then it's amazing. Yeah, shout out my great Aunt Helen. My yes. So eggnog for me, 10, brother. Hard 10.
Tyler, I have a confession.
Don't.
Boys never had eggnog.
Stop. I thought you were going to say something about my Aunt Helen, dude.
Don't know where you were going with that, but I've never had eggnog, my boy. Let's move on though to
Wait, we cannot move on. You've never had eggnog, dude?
Nope.
You have to get it. You have to get it. Start scavenging Walmart, Publix, whatever, anything down there. Pick up if they have a few different like flavors, they're all generally the same. Scoop them all. You gotta try them. You have to. Don't mix any alcohol with it. We'll see. Dude, it'll make you shit your brains out. See it.
Not what I want to hear. I don't need any help doing that. Say it and grade it. Christmas lights / decorations. When I say it and grade it, Christmas lights, I imagine like, you know, you're in the whip and you're strolling along the road.
Mm-hmm.
You see Christmas lights all over, decorations in people's yards. Say it and grade it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with like I can't give it another 10, so I'm gonna go with like a 9.6 because especially for the people who do it right, who actually put effort into it, and they do some like real extravagant shit. That's lit. No pun intended. That shit is lit, and it just mixes in, especially up north. I mean, it's nice no matter where you see it, right? But especially when it's up north, Christmas time. It's all positive. It's all positive. It's not like Halloween. You got scary shit, a little bit of negativity in there, right? It's all positive. And there's snow. So it's real it's beautiful. It can be beautiful. So for me, 9.6. Christmas lights.
Like you said, like the people that do it right, and there's still houses I remember growing up, going around in Auburn. There's houses I still remember, like every year you knew that bitch would just be decked out, decorations, like the whole yard. And it's like houses like that, yeah, I look forward to, like, that's a 10 to me. I want to go somewhere where I know like it's just going to be decked out, you know what I mean? And like that is sick to me. I love seeing that. I love when people just completely overdo it, like OD. Love that shit. What's your favorite Christmas movie?
I don't know if this one it has to count. Elf. It's got to count.
Oh yeah,
I honestly couldn't think of another one.
bro.
I was thinking of it, and I'm like, fucking dude, what is my favorite Christmas? The only one I could really think of was Elf. You know what else I thought of? Which is not even close to Christmas? Ted. He's a favorite Christmas movie, and I was like, I like Ted.
The fuck?
That's like talking to that fucking kid. He's like, what are you for Halloween this year? I like turtles. It's like, it's not even close. But for me, bro,
I-
definitely Elf.
Yeah, I think
Definitely
I'd
Elf.
have to agree with you. An Elf,
Ooh,
phenomenal movie. I should
that
have
was
wore
a
the
little
shirt.
messy.
Now that I think of it, Will Ferrell shirt.
Oh yeah.
But for the sake of this segment, I'm going to throw in
Oh
Jim Carrey's The Grinch. Still
yeah.
love that movie.
Yeah.
Great
No,
movie.
that I didn't even know that was Jim Carrey for the longest time either when I was a kid. So
Yeah,
that's
it's hard to
definitely good.
believe. Hard to believe thinking about it. Just like the whole storyline, though, I loved it as a kid, and I'll still watch it, occasionally if I see it on now. But shout out to Elf and The Grinch, and then
Sure.
honorable mention Polar Express because I love Tom Hanks in that too.
Yeah, that one was solid too. See, I just don't remember a lot of these movies. I don't watch Christmas movies like that anymore. I mean, when I was a kid, like if you asked me 15 years ago, I probably would have been like, I would have had a little more knowledge. But yeah, for me, it's Elf. So shout out to your uncle, Will Ferrell. Hell of a job.
So what did you do? What was your favorite Christmas tradition? What's your favorite Christmas tradition? It could be like from your childhood or something you do now.
Yeah, you know what? It's crazy to say it. When I was a kid, and it's not even Christmas, I just think like wintertime, right? All the snow. When I was a kid, I lived in Florida, so we didn't get it. But sometimes we came up to New York for Christmas. Like we would come up for Christmas and then have our own little thing when we got back home after vacation, like before or after. But it was snowball fights, man. When I was a kid, I loved doing snowball fights. But since that's kind of like not even solely a Christmas thing, it's more just like a winter thing with the snow. Um, it was like wrapping presents for whatever reason. I just love to fucking wrap that shit and fucking throw some tape on it.
Ew.
Be like, "Choo, choo, 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 choo." Yeah. When I was a kid, I fucking loved wrapping presents with my parents for whatever. Maybe it was
I've
just
always hated it.
spending time with my parents. But no, but now
Just throw
legit
that shit
as
in
an
a
adult,
bag.
no, yeah, it's flipped roles completely now. Now I hate wrapping presents, and to be honest, the thing I love the most about Christmas because I don't know. I'm not huge on like traditions, to be honest with you, but for me, it's kind of that time just spent, right? Spending time with family, people that you don't see as often. Because when you're a kid, you're with your family every fucking day, all the time. You can't escape them. Once you get older and spend that much time with them, getting that time to spend with them is good. My brother's lit. My parents are lit, so I love spending time with them. When I was a kid, though, my brother was a dick and my mom hated me.
That is not true.
No, it wasn't true. Me and my mom just butt heads a lot, but yeah, no, my brother was a dick. Me and my mom butted heads. My dad was always a saint. And now I love them all. Now I love them all. So it's good to just spend some time with them now. So that's my favorite thing about Christmas, or my favorite Christmas tradition, so to speak. I know it's a little off. Maybe you were hoping for me to say something like picking out a Christmas tree or something like that, but nah, it's just time spent with the
No,
fam.
that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Because it got me thinking too. It's because like when I was a kid, I always felt like separated almost from the rest of my family. So, like you said, like the holidays, it was just like, well, yeah, I'm just dealing with the same people I deal with every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um, but it's like as you get older, you start to grow that appreciation for them. Um, and
100%.
my relationship with my family and my parents, especially, has done a full 180, since those days
Hmm.
from being a kid and a teenager. And so it's just
Yeah,
awesome. Like you said, it's awesome to catch up and just see them. And I'm going there
right.
tomorrow, hanging out with them for the weekend, and then Christmas. And then, I mean, you can't beat that. Time well
Right.
spent with your loved ones.
100.
But my tradition has to be so Christmas Eve, ever since I was a little kid,
Ooh.
we had this tradition of we would just play games. We play games all
Oh
day,
shit.
dude. We wake up and we play games, board games, card games,
Yeah.
games on the TV, video games, whatever it was. We were
Gone.
gaming all day,
Love
all
that.
night. Usually watch like a Christmas movie too, but that's something still that we like. Me, my sisters, my parents, we'll all do that together on Christmas Eve. We'll play games together. So that's a good time.
Yeah,
Looking forward
that's
to
actually
that.
pretty lit.
First of all, I want to say, if any kids are watching right now, anybody who's got kids watching, get them out of the room. Put headphones on real quick.
Warning.
Tyler, how did you find out? I hope no kids are watching this. How'd you find out Santa wasn't real?
Does your nephew already know?
No. He's 8.
It's getting close. You know what? I don't know, man. I don't remember. And so my memory is fading on me rather quick as I get older. I don't remember, man. And I tried asking my parents. I tried asking my dad, and he's beating around the bush with me, and I don't understand it. I don't know. Maybe I just one day was like,
it's like, what do you mean he's not real?
Yeah, maybe one day I was just like, I know Santa's not real. My parents, maybe my mom was like, what? Well, of course he's real. And I was like, no, Mom, I know. Like, no, I don't know. I really can't remember. Hold on. Can I read you this text, though?
Yeah.
Bro, and tell me I'm like, maybe you might understand this one. I said, hey, do you guys remember how I found out Santa was real? Wait. Oh, man, dude. I'm shot. I'm so shot. Yikes. Okay, so that's what I sent, though. That's what I sent. And my dad goes, I think it was that special twinkle in your eyes on Christmas morning. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, LOL. He goes, you snuck out of your bedroom and spotted Santa kissing your mother underneath the mistletoe. Ever since then, you've been blessed with that Christmas spirit, that twinkle.
Love it. Loved it.
I haven't responded. I don't know what to say. I meant, like, that didn't help me at all. So, long story short, I don't know.
Mine, I will never forget it, Tyler. I don't know. I was thinking about it earlier today. I don't know what drew me to do this. It must have been I heard something in school. I don't even know what age I was. I was probably like 9 or 10. But whatever reason, whatever made me decide to do this,
What the fuck is that?
I remember going into my parents' room and looking under the bed. At this point, there's probably like 20 days till Christmas. I remember going underneath the bed, and I see all these presents that are wrapped up, and I pull one of them out, and it says, to Patrick from Santa Claus. And I was like, just shook, bro. I was like, can't be fucking true. It can't be true. And just like that, man, I feel like since that day, I've kind of been a Grinch when it comes to Christmas. I really have been. I mean, I spoke of it earlier with the Christmas music and then the decorations a little bit. I feel like from that day on, I was just like, didn't feel the same to me. And it's like you said, it like a little resentment that I hang on to it. But there's more important things. You know, we talked about like that, the quality time with your family. That's what I see Christmas as now. So it's all good.
Know what? My takeaway from that is Mark and Sharon, Mr. and Mrs. Farrell, need to hide your presents better.
Yeah, that was weak sauce. Mark was being lazy. You got to know, like, once they start getting to a certain age and you start hearing, like, there's always those little assholes in school that ruin it for everybody else. So it's like as soon as somebody opens up their mouth, you know, it could ruin it for kids. So you gotta be on your toes as a parent in that situation, I feel like. And they just weren't at the time. They had a lot of room to hide it, and they chose a basic route.
You could have hit it in the pool. You could have hit it in the piss hole. You could have hit it. Just kidding. I love you guys. Mark and Sharon, shout out to you guys. Can't wait for the next cruise, by the way. Real one this time.
Real one. All right. Once again, we want to wish you all Merry Christmas. But let's get into some NFL. There's going to be plenty of that this weekend and on Christmas. So I want to talk about that. Before we talk about, some headlines from last week's game, Tyler, I want to ask you, if it were up to you, who would be your NFL MVP right now?
You know what? I had to think about this one for quite some time. And over those 30 seconds, I landed on Lamar Jackson. I don't even know the statistics fully, but he has been awesome this year. And the Ravens, are looking like the real deal out in the AFC. They're, I think, the clear favorite. For me, it's Lamar Jackson. And second, for me, would be Christian McCaffrey. I would really like our league to start showing some of these skill position players some more love when it comes to the MVP award. It's either that or you come up with something else for these guys. Because every single year, or maybe that's what the offensive player of the year is for or whatever, right? So maybe they give McCaffrey, NFC offensive player of the year, something like that, because we know how quarterback heavy MVP awards are. So for me, it's Lamar Jackson. Second, I guess you'd throw Purdy in there. He's been awesome this year too. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Lamar.
I thought really hard about this, just like you did today, because I was like, there's so much still left to be played that could decide it for me. Like, who's going to come out as the clear-cut 1 seed in the AFC, specifically, and then when you look at the Niners, it's like, does Purdy keep playing like this level? Because he has to be the favorite. He's the quarterback. That's how it is. It's a quarterback-driven award. But I just want to say that I do have a future on Tyreek Hill winning MVP, and I think there's still a path for that because nobody's ever eclipsed 2,000 yards receiving. So if he can do that after missing a game, doing that in 16 games, and then now let's say Miami wins out. Miami wins the next 3, and they are the 1 seed. And they control their own destiny. They went out. They become the 1 seed. How do you not give it to Tyreek Hill? People want to say, oh, but look, they won 30-0 without him. How is he the most valuable? Bro, that whole offense is literally built around Tyreek Hill. And you want to talk about well, look what happened without him. Yeah, let's go back to 2 weeks ago. What happened without him in that Tennessee game when they blew the game late and lost? It's like you put that team in a situation like all of a sudden where, hey, Tyreek Hill's gone. Deal with it. What do you got? They were shook. They were shook up in that game. You get Mike McDaniel a whole week to prepare for Tyreek Hill probably not playing. Now you can get these designs for Waddle. You get the run game going a little bit more. And it's like, bro, they're playing the Jets. Come on. The Jets offense isn't good. They can't even cross the 50. So it's like your offense is going to be, given opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. Like, come on, bro. We really hyping up the Jets like that. Like, oh, look what they did without Tyreek Hill. Come on, man. Who are they playing? Let me see that team. Let me see Miami play Dallas this week without Tyreek Hill. And if they look like that without him, then I'll shut up. But I don't see that happening.
Not
so
likely.
2,000 yards in a Miami 1 seed, Tyreek Hill should be MVP. I don't care. He's a wide receiver. Deserves it. But I have to agree with you That's the conclusion I came to was Lamar Jackson. If it's right now, it's Lamar Jackson. And to me, he's way better. He's way better as a quarterback than the last time he won MVP.
Oh yeah.
So I see
Undoubtedly.
no issues with Lamar Jackson getting MVP votes this year. Like they just keep losing running back after running back after running back. They never have. But what's the constant? Lamar. What did that team do last year when Lamar gets hurt? They fall off a cliff, at the end of the season. Lamar, we want to talk about most valuable. It's Lamar Jackson. I know McCaffrey's valuable. I know I just spoke of Tyreek Hill and what I think has to happen. If it's me, I would give it to Tyreek Hill because, but I don't have a vote. It's a quarterback bias vote. So that's what's going to come down to. Somebody's got to do something ridiculous. Cooper Kupp couldn't win MVP after the season.
Triple crown.
So if that doesn't get it done, I mean, fuck. Todd
That's
Gurley,
like,
the year that Todd Gurley had, they gave it to Tom Brady. I was like,
I feel like, and this might be a bad comparison, but just off the top of my head, it'd be like, let's say the MVP award in the MLB was starting pitcher favorite or heavy, right? Pitchers always got, I know there's a Cy Young award, but I'm trying to make an analogy. And let's say the MVP was always going to the pitchers, and then you had guys like Miguel Cabrera or Albert Pujols who were always triple crown runners. Maybe like one of them finally won the triple crown, but his starting pitcher still won MVP. It's like Cooper Kupp had the fucking triple crown. How many wide receivers have done that? You know what I mean? And then he still didn't win MVP. Just crazy. Did he even win Offensive Player of the Year?
Yeah, he definitely won Offensive Player of the Year.
Okay.
Going back to Lamar, though, it's like his elusiveness in the pocket, his awareness in the pocket, just to evade pressure. Like I've seen it 2 weeks in a row. Games that I watched very in depth with the Ravens was that Jags primetime game, and then when they played the Rams last week. It's just so hard to get him on the ground. He's a magician back there, and he's not looking to beat you running it. Once he finds that opening, he will. I mean, if it's open, he could take it. But what's dangerous about him now is his eyes are remaining downfield, and he's looking to make that play downfield for his receivers, who he has now. We finally have receivers in Baltimore, and now you see what's happening. I know Mark Andrews is down, but I like Likely a lot. And it's honestly seems like they haven't missed a beat since they lost Andrews. And that's credit to Lamar Jackson. They
100%.
have a running back by committee. They have been for years because nobody stays healthy. And I guarantee you, it's going to look the same out there. They got a huge game against the Niners. That's our Super Bowl pick, Ravens Niners.
Can't
so
wait.
we just hope that these teams don't beat the hell out of each other so they can both make a run here down the road. But what a game. Doesn't get any better than that. Ravens 49ers. But yeah, my MVP right now would have to be Lamar as well. Let's talk about some other NFL topics, though. I want to talk about Cincinnati Bengals pulling off a win in overtime last Saturday over the Minnesota Vikings. Battle of backup quarterbacks, Nick Mullins versus Jake Browning. And Jake Browning gets it done again for the Cincinnati Bengals, Tyler, who are now sitting at 8-6 without Joe Burrow. Unbelievable. Ty Chandler, though, had a great game for Minnesota. I do want to mention that. But Jake Browning finished 29 for 42 for 324 and 2 tutties. Have you changed your thoughts on the Cincinnati Bengals? Because right now, it looks like they may be making a push for the playoffs.
They might be. But as much of a Jake Browning fan I've become, I think the magic runs out and they still come up short. I think it's going to be more of a story than it is a reality, but I hope they do make it to the playoffs. I mean, that'd be real fun. They make it and then they beat the Bills or something like that. Like that'd be huge.
So they're going to have to win. They're going to have to win 2 out of the next 3. They're playing Steelers this week. Have to win that. You lose that, you're
They have to
done.
win. Oh, yeah.
Because after that, they play at Kansas City, and then they play home against Cleveland. So I think you win 2 out of the next 3, and Cincinnati's in. But this is a must-win coming up here for Pittsburgh. Against Pittsburgh, excuse me.
Yeah, no, that's because the game against Pittsburgh, they're bringing in Rudolph. He's been named the starter. Mitch Trubisky fucking blew it. And then they play the Chiefs, who have been struggling. So both that in their favor. And then they get the Browns in Cincinnati. Yeah, in their the Browns, one of the biggest splits, dude. Their defense is terrible on the road. As great as their defense, elite as their defense has been this year, on the road, they stink. They are like bottom 5 on the road, and they're clear-cut number 1 at home. It's just crazy, their road split. So the fact that Cincinnati...
They'll be in the same state, though. Same state.
Maybe not. But that's huge, though. Splits-wise, that's huge. So Cincinnati could win all 3 of them. I'm just putting it out there. They could win all 3, and I wouldn't be surprised if it happens. I do think they lose, like you said. They probably lose at least one of those. I still like the Texans and the Colts. And then who was the other one? I picked the Browns.
Buffalo.
Yeah. No, I didn't pick Buffalo. You did, but yeah, I still like the Texans, the Colts. Yeah, I think Buffalo obviously has a really good shot at making it now. They're just playing good football, and Allen's on. That's what I was going to say earlier too. Josh Allen's like that dark horse runner in the MVP. If Buffalo can win out, and or maybe only lose one game, he's going to be in that discussion. So
I want to talk about Denver because they were one of I had Denver, Buffalo, and Jacksonville because I had Houston win the division. Let's get into Denver, though, because they took it on the chin. Cost me my parlay Saturday. Could have cashed out after winning the first 2 games. I didn't. I was like, oh, Denver. I even teased it to plus 7.5. I was like, this is money in the bank, bro.
Yeah.
And it got out of hand. Sean Payton went off on Russell Wilson. That was pretty hilarious. 42-17. Sam Laporta put it on him with 3 touchdowns. And it was one of those games for Detroit at home where they just routed a team, ran them out of the building. Denver's now sitting at 7-7, and I think they're going to have to win out to get in. Coming up for them, they're playing New England, should be a dub. Playing the Chargers should be a dub. Playing the Raiders should be a dub. They could do it, Tyler. 3 in a row to end the season for Denver.
Yeah, they could do it. They too could be ninja.
They could do it, but how crazy is it going to be when all of these teams end up winning and then somebody gets left out? You know what I mean? 1 or 2 teams are going to get left out still. Jared Goff, 5 touchdowns. Gibbs,
awesome.
100 yards on 11 carries. St. Brown over 100 yards. But do it on the road. Let me see that on the road.
Them in Dallas, same boat, dude. They can blow teams out, and they play awesome at home. They go on the road, and they're just a different team. So that's why neither of them are even. No one's even thinking about them beating San Francisco. Not one person is like, yeah, I'm pretty sure Dallas or Detroit can handle San Francisco in the playoffs in San Francisco. Fuck out of here. They need to figure it the fuck out. Both those teams on the road, they need to figure it out. Whatever they need to do, they need to come up with some. If they're on a private jet, take the bus. I don't care if it's a 2-day road trip. Switch it up, dude. Take the bus to LA. Whatever you got to do. Quit flying on a plane. Too spoiled. Make them do something different on the road. You guys need to start winning. Make it tougher. That's it, though.
Lions finish off with Minnesota twice and then at Dallas. I could see him winning 2 out of 3. Puts him at 12 wins. Could potentially still get that 2 seed. We'll see what happens. You never know. I mean, the Eagles' schedule is kind of soft looking forward here, but you never know.
Yeah, it is. The thing that bodes well for Detroit is that all 3 of those games are going to be in a dome. Minnesota, right. Detroit, Dallas, all domes, so Jared Goff won't have to play outside.
Another game I got wrong that costed me. Houston Texans beat the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans in overtime, 19-16.
dude.
Case Keenum gets it done for Houston. Derrick Henry, Tyler.
Stunk.
This was laughable.
Fucking booty.
16 carries for 9 yards, Tyler.
Laughable, bro. That's how bad it was. It's laughable. That's awful.
I don't know what the hell is going on. And then Levis gets hurt late in the game, and it's like it was only a matter of time. He got sacked 7 times in this game, and it's been every single week this kid's just getting tore up because his offensive line's awful.
So, can Ryan Tannehill take a little less heat now? Like Tannehill was getting smoked earlier in the year.
He's playing. I think he's playing this week now.
He has to. Or are they going to throw in Malik Willis? Come on, you want to win?
Why not? They're eliminated.
Fair enough.
Derrick Henry's already talking about like his future out of Tennessee. So
yeah, I felt like he wanted out earlier this year too.
Yeah, but I want to talk about Houston because hopefully there's CJ back this week. Huge game against Cleveland at home. It's like, dude, it's right there. After pulling that off, what a game for them to get because now they're at 8-6.
Yeah,
in a huge game. Like the Browns are right in that wild card race, right with them, and Houston still got a chance to win the division. You never know what's going on in Jacksonville right now. So a huge game. Looking forward to that. Anything you want to add on Houston?
Yeah, kind of. I know CJ Stroud, it's still up in the air as far as I know if he's going to play this week. Do we know any real Texans fans? No, that doesn't say. We need our sources out there. I was just going to go on a quick real mini rant about how week to week the NFL is. And this is why you can't just ride every wave, right? Last week we saw the Jets smoke the Texans 0-0 halftime and then end up smoking them 30-6. And then CJ Stroud, and with CJ Stroud playing, mind you, until he got hurt, of course, and got the concussion somewhere in the third quarter, I think. And then the next week they go and beat the Titans, who the week before came back and beat the Dolphins in the final 3 minutes. And then the Dolphins go on to smoke the Jets the next week. And then the Texans beat the Titans with their backup quarterback. That is how week to week the NFL is. The unexpected happens all the fucking time. But continue. That was my mini rant.
No, that's all I got for that. Another game I want to talk about, that Tennessee game, I did a little bit on that, so it didn't hurt me too much. But the game that really fucking killed me last week, the singular game that messed everything up for me on Sunday, was the Atlanta Falcons losing 9-7 in Carolina. And dude, we've been talking shit about Desmond Ridder for the entire season, how Taylor Heineke is the better guy. And for me to put my money in his hands and him blow that game, like all they had to do was sit on it and kick a field goal and the game was over. And he throws that pick in the red zone. Carolina goes down the field, kicks a game-winning field goal. You can't make this shit up. Now Heineke's going to be playing, but it's like, oh, Atlanta, your season's probably over now because you wanted to, what did we say weeks and weeks and weeks ago? It's like, it's like, stop trying to, rally around this kid like there's a future with him. You know what I mean? Like, we know who the better option at quarterback is for you in Atlanta. You got a good roster around you. You can win with that roster in a very winnable division. And it's like, now did you toss that down the toilet? Did Arthur Smith just lose his job because he put his faith in Desmond Ridder? I think he might have. I think the way this is going for Atlanta, he could be gone. And it's like, bro, is it worth it to try and, stretch it out with this kid as long as you did when we've seen time and time again, he's not the answer. He's not. For them to lose this game in Carolina.
Yeah, there was so much professional money too on the Panthers. Like it just goes to show how nobody, at least, people who know what they're betting on, don't trust Desmond Ritter. And they're only laying, what were they laying, 2.5 or 3? Or was it 3.5? I can't remember.
3.5. 3.5, I believe, is what I got to.
They were laying 3.5 to a 1-win team. And people were still taking the 1-win team. And you even just took money line. You did you teased it because of Desmond Ritter. And that's what he did. He rode with Desmond Ritter earlier in the year. And we saw the fruits of the team, right? How well that how many weapons they have, right? And then you end up benching him for Taylor Heineke, and then Heineke got hurt, and then you put Ritter back in, and then you chose to stick with Ritter. So now Ritter makes the big mistake, and now you go back to Heineke. You cannot fucking do that in the NFL. That is a recipe for disaster. You cannot bounce back and forth between quarterbacks, waiting until the next one just makes the big mistake, and then you switch back over to the other one. It is not a winning formula, and that is why they are where they are right now. So
Chicago Bears 17, Cleveland Browns 20. This was one of the 3 games I had watched a lot of on Sunday. Chicago defense early in this game was dominant. Their D-line was really getting after Cleveland, who's a fantastic, arguably the best offensive line in the league. Chicago D-line was eating them up. They were forcing turnovers. Early in that game, the defense did enough to win that game, and the offense just couldn't put it away. Couldn't put it away for them. Go ahead.
That's the story of the Bears season. Like, even if and that's the biggest knock on Fields, dude. For me personally, every time the Bears are the worst. Like, there's a stat out there that's just bad, where the Bears going into the fourth quarter with like a double-digit lead or even more than a 1-score lead, like they're like the worst team in NFL history, basically, because they blow all those games. They blow them all. Most teams are like, you have a 90% win percentage in those scenarios, and the Bears are like under 40%. Something stupid like that, right? But either way, I was just going to say we should have called our boy Sean. Flacco went off. We should be calling him Sean.
It's his boy, Delaware.
Yeah.
No, going back to Fields, though, dude, I'm not putting all of this on Fields. I know I am team Justin Fields, but to me, like, did you see that drop by Tunyon?
Yes, I did.
Bro.
Yep.
Rolls out, sets his feet.
Dime.
Throws a dime. Right on the money to Tunyon. He drops it. It's like, that's the story of the season. I feel like that's the story of his Justin Fields' career right now. He just can't catch a break. You look at his stat line and you're like, Justin Fields, he's trash. But it's like those 2 picks were both on Hail Marys. One of them wasn't even an interception. If they would have just looked at it, it clearly hits the ground. So they just give the kid an interception. And then also the one before halftime, he gets drilled. I put it on the Instagram a couple of days ago. He gets drilled after throwing it. Obvious roughing the passer, bro. Obvious that would have set them up for a field goal. So that could have been 3. And then there was another case where he got them in position to kick a field goal. And then Eberflus, for whatever reason, decided to not put Cairo Santos out there to kick it. And it may be because of the direction, like the wind was bad. I don't know what it is, but it felt like that was a spot on the field where you need a kicker to make that kick for you. So I feel like that was 6 points that they should have had. And then obviously the throw to Tunyon. It's like talked about it in that Detroit game where that throw to Tyler Scott. And then we talk about the end of the game, the Hail Mary that gets batted down in Mooney's hands, and it's right in Mooney's chest. Right in his chest. He has his arms like this on the ball, and somehow the ball still comes out. It's like anything that can happen, anything that can go wrong to paint the picture more of like Justin Fields not being the future, not being a franchise quarterback. It's like the kid cannot catch a break right now. And on top of that, offensive coordinator, man, this dude looks scared. He looks scared to dial it up. He really does. Like, they need to, I don't know what's going on. Like, sometimes in the NFL, we see these guys, their careers just get extended because they were coaching great players. And we're seeing that with Nate Hackett. We're seeing it with Nate Hackett, what he did in Denver. We're seeing it with what the Jets offense looks like right now. And it's like, because Aaron Rodgers was carrying that dude. Talk about Luke Getsy, Bears OC. Aaron Rodgers carries this guy, gets a job with the Bears in the division. It's like, I remember a couple of games ago, dude, they must have called 25 to 30 screen passes, like these little hitch screens. We're calling them all game long. And it's like, it was becoming so predictable that the D-backs were behind the line of scrimmage to like pick the ball off because they knew it was coming every single time. Justin Fields is not in a position right now where he can succeed. He's kind of doing it all on the fly. And I know that he can get better in some areas playing quarterback. There's no doubt about it. I still think things can process quicker for him. I think that's the biggest issue right now for Fields is the ball needs to come out quicker. He's not processing things quickly enough. Every time you see that play from him, it's like something happens around him where the guys just can't help him out. They didn't get anything going in the run game. I like Roschon Johnson a lot, the rookie who runs really hard for them. Big dude, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like him a lot, but it's like they gave him the ball 5 times, bro. And it's like you got him, you got Foreman, you got Herbert, you got 3 very capable backs. It's run the ball, man.
Right.
I just feel like Fields right now is not set up in a position to succeed on a team where he could, with that defense, I think you really got something going forward with this Bears team. And then you throw in those 2 top picks that they're going to have next year, Marvin Harrison Jr., offensive lineman, or best defensive player in the draft. Like, I think you got something going forward with Chicago. So I do think if he does get traded, Atlanta is the spot. But good for Cleveland. I know I just ranted about the Bears, but good for Cleveland, staying alive. They're 9-5 now. And for them to come back in that game, they're just continuing to find a way to win football games and keeping this thing going with Flacco.
Yeah. I wanted to, obviously touch on Fields. I know he's been kind of a big talking point for us over the course of this year. It's just such an interesting scenario because I don't think there's any doubt how talented he is. And then going, into that second half, and I felt, kind of like I said before, the story lately for him has just been these second half or fourth quarter woes, so to speak. And you make a good point. He doesn't get a whole lot of help around him. But he went 6 for 19 in the second half last week, and you can't win going 6 for 19 unless you do something crazy with your legs and your defense is, making huge plays for you like the Steelers D earlier in the year when they couldn't, get 100 yards of offense. Unfortunately, 6 of 19 for the Bears was not going to cut it in the second half. But, with that talent they have in the backfield, maybe I'd like to see him try to do like what Baltimore does with their crew, right? What Miami does with their backfield. None of those backfields have like a
play caller is not creative enough. That's the issue.
Yeah.
They could.
Right. It's just like, take a page out of their book for the last few games. Are they officially out, the Bears?
I would imagine. No, there's still some things that can happen for the Bears, but it's a long shot.
So what I'd like to see the Bears do, which I think would be like, I don't know, just in my opinion, right? I've said it before when we talked about it, Justin Fields earlier in the year. I think he's a great talent and he can be very successful in this league. It just has been a really rough ride in Chicago. And I think that they might mutually just need a change of pace, right? So I think that trade to Atlanta would be, and I wouldn't even be saying that if I didn't believe Justin Fields could be really good, right? I think he would just fit really well in Atlanta, and they could be a very dangerous offense, very dangerous. Because I like what he brings to the table. It's just, kind of what you said too, just processing things. He's not quite there. Could it work out in Chicago? Absolutely. But in my opinion, I think especially if Carolina ends up getting the number 1 pick, right, or being the worst, and then that pick goes to Chicago, I'm on the Caleb Williams train. Or let's say Chicago even likes Drake May more, or maybe they like is it Bo Nix from Oregon or any of those guys? But
if they're taking a quarterback, it's Caleb.
It's got to be
No,
Caleb,
they're not
right?
passing. Yeah, they're not passing him.
Yeah. So you take Caleb and Marvin Harrison. If you can get that duo and then flip Justin Fields to Atlanta, make them give you their number 1 pick, and now you have another top 15 pick. I think they can get. I think if Atlanta is desperate enough and they're smart enough, they will give up a 1 for Justin Fields. That's what I would like to see from the Bears, but I still like to reiterate, I still do think that Justin Fields has a future in the league, and it could be with Chicago, but I have a feeling it won't be.
Moving on to another team that can't seem to help their quarterback out. It is the Kansas City Chiefs, who pull off a win in New England, 27-17, but it was not pretty for a lot of that game. Tony drops a pass right in his hands, then it gets picked off. You see Mahomes on the sideline. He's just fucking livid, dude. Throwing his helmet, screaming. It's like he has to be so fed up with this guy right now. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. You can't make this shit up with Kadarius Toney right now. You really can't. Another thing I want to touch on, that drop by Kelsey in the end zone was very uncharacteristic from him. It looked like he just didn't even want to be hit out there. I think I was texting you. I was texting you or I was texting Weed about, it was like, bro, it just seems like his whole demeanor is different out there on the field. And I posted that thing on my Instagram of the little aliens from Space Jam putting their hands on the basketball, stealing all those NBA players' power. Because it feels like it feels like something like the talent just got taken out of Travis Kelce. I don't want to say the talent because he's still a very capable tight end, but he's not like the Travis Kelce that we're used to. I'm just not seeing it. Yeah. He doesn't even talk shit anymore out there, bro. It's like, where's the dog mentality in this dude that we're used to seeing, and that we loved as fans for all these years, like talking shit with the D-backs, getting into it with them. It's like he could care less if he's out there playing or not, it felt like. And I know he's got Taylor up in the press box. The TV has to cut to her every time that he does something, on the football field. We just got to show Taylor in the press box. So that is a distraction. I'm sure it's affecting him right now. Yeah. I didn't want to talk about the Chiefs without bringing that up. He just doesn't look like the same dude to me. It looks like Rice is that dude for me. For Mahomes right now, it looks like Rice is that dude when they need it. Like they need that big completion, middle of the field, wherever it may be, where just like sit and find an opening out there. Trust him, get the ball, and he's going to make a play. Rice is that guy right now for the Chiefs. So it's pretty cool to see him, developing into that role, and he's gotten better and better, it seems, as the season's gone on, and they've needed him. Where the hell would they be without him right now? Because nobody else in that receiving room has stepped up at all for them, especially not Tony, Sky Moore. No, but they escape. How confident are you in the Chiefs right now making a run?
I'm not confident, but I haven't given up yet just because they have Mahomes. That's the only reason why. Keep Sky Moore. Get rid of everybody else.
Really?
Well, besides Rice and Sky Moore, but everybody else can go. Especially MVS. Valdez-Scantling, go back to Green Bay or something. But you need to get out of Kansas City. Darius Toney needs to go back to New York, or just get out of.
They don't want him.
Join Kenny Golladay, dude. Yeah, no, they all just. I'm giving up on their wide receiver room, but I'm not giving up on Patrick Mahomes. So I'm not confident they can make a run, especially into the playoffs. But I'm not giving up on Patty.
I do want to mention Pacheco was out, so hopefully he's back. I think he is back this week because I said it last episode. He sets the tone for that offense.
Yeah.
Like if that offense can go as he goes, and he can set up everything around him in that offense, make everything easier, pass a game, and they need that right now because they're not getting anything going, like we said with the receivers. But I think they got a chance as well. But it has to be dependent on Pacheco. Like Pacheco has to be that guy who sets the tone for that offense, and then you use that play action off of that. And Mahomes can be dangerous. If he has a defense and a run game, we could see Mahomes make a run. Very well could. Yeah. I want to preview this Ravens-Niners game a little bit. We talked about it a little bit. It's our Super Bowl bet. Hope these teams just don't beat the hell out of each other and we get any injuries coming out of this. Anything you want to add about the Niners win last week, about them going into this game? And then Ravens just beat the Jags 23-7, that primetime game. Touch on it a little bit. Trevor Lawrence fumbled the ball twice in that game. Didn't look great. Not a great performance by the Jags. Another big letdown at home for them. And right now they're playing with their food in that AFC South, a division that everybody expected them to run away with this year. It's coming down to the wire with them, the Texans and the Colts. And who would have thought that, with two teams that drafted rookie quarterbacks in the top 5. So anything you want to talk about with those teams?
I was on my way back from Buffalo and I was putting my dad onto the Tory Lanez 80s, 90s albums. So I didn't get to watch that Jacksonville-Baltimore game, but just leading into this, it's our Super Bowl preview. That these are the two teams that we're confident are going to be playing in, is it January or February? February. Those are the two teams that are going to be playing in February. So I'm very, very, very excited for this game. There's a few really good games this weekend. This is obviously the best of the bunch.
I want to get into your bets in a little bit. One more game I want to talk about. That was the Monday night game. Seattle Seahawks win at home against the Philadelphia Eagles, 20-17. Drew Lock pulls it off in the end. 3rd and 10, throws an absolute dime to JSN in the end zone. Just put it right on the money where all he had to do was put his arms out and catch it. And there was a play that he made at Ohio State that looked identical to that. It looked like the same. It was C.J. Stroud throwing it to him then. But what a moment for the rookie to come up, clutch in that moment for Seattle, keeping their season alive. And then Drew Lock, man, who I've had some thoughts about him. Like first couple years in the league, it just seemed like the dude was really in over his head. He was arrogant, annoying, honestly. Knew he had a very talented arm. He's got some really good arm talent, but there were some things that I didn't like, characteristic and tangible kind of things with Drew Lock. For him to do that in that moment, Monday night, and then I heard him talking about it after the game. He's just super humble now. It just seems like a different dude. I got a lot of respect for him, and I got a lot of respect for what he did on Monday night because that was a big-time game for the Seattle Seahawks, big moment, and he made a huge play, huge throw, kept them in this game. But I do want to mention Philadelphia. They're going downhill right now, going downhill fast. I know they end the season with 2 games against the Giants, and then who was the other one? Cardinals. Played Giants twice and the Cardinals once, so they should finish out 3-0. But it's like, dude, since that Niners game, like starting with that Niners game, their offense looks like garbage, bro. Yeah, 3 straight losses. Their offense looks like garbage right now. I think they need to get this run game going because they're becoming way too Jalen dependent right now, and he's getting his shit kicked in. He hasn't been healthy all year, and they haven't changed the way they play football at all, it seems. He went into this game he had to travel separately from the rest of the team, had like a flu. It's like you would have never known watching that game. You would have never known like that Jalen had an issue. And it's like, can we set this dude up like to make it easier just a little bit? Like, can we do anything to like help him out just a little bit other than making it the same every single week? It's like, I think the Eagles are becoming that, like that Buffalo Bills, how they were these last couple of years before what we're seeing from them now. It's like that same predictable kind of offense where you're not caught off guard as a defense with them anymore. We're not seeing the explosion that we were from them at one point. And then the defense is banged up. Defense is really banged up. Oh, yeah. Steichen is a huge miss for them right now. And then even Jonathan Gannon, DC, that left. Yep. They're missing those guys big time right now. They had Matt Patricia calling plays for him on Monday. So, and then Bradbury, who Slay's out. So Bradbury is your number one going into that game. And then he gets beat by a rookie for the game. It's like, I know Maddox is a really good slot corner who's missing, and I don't know if he's coming back or not, but you could really see the differences from last year and this year. Like, they're missing Gardner Johnson. They're missing Epps. They're missing TJ Edwards. Like, these are some guys that they haven't been able to replace, and their defense, honestly, it looks like straight garbage right now.
Well, the TJ Edwards replacement hasn't been around. Nakobe Dean, I haven't seen him all year, and then their two rookies, Nolan Smith was supposed to help fill linebacker void as well. I know he's more of an outside backer, but they're missing those
He made
guys.
A play in that game Monday night, and then he comes up hurt on that same play. It's like they can't catch a break at linebacker with these injuries right now.
That's been his story of his rookie year. That kid, he just can't stay healthy, and then that's Nakobe Dean right now too. He can't stay healthy. But I was just gonna say, like, Steichen, dude, that was the biggest thing for me in the offseason. I was like, I don't really think like besides Gardner Johnson and TJ Edwards are, big losses. They replaced them with they brought in Edmonds at safety, which isn't,
he's gone because they got Byard now.
Right. And now they got Byard, right? But I don't know, man. Steichen just offensively, because as you mentioned, their offense just hasn't been the same, and they still have all that talent, and they even brought in Swift. And early in the game, I see Swift and he looks good. He looks quick. He's making plays. And then next thing you know, it's the same story. Eagles need to run the ball more. It's like they just get away from it. But yeah, Steichen, man, he just had them well-oiled machine last year. And now look at what he's doing in Indianapolis in his first year with Gardner Minshew. It's like clearly he played a big impact in Philly. That's that. Philly needs to figure it out, and they got obviously the little cupcake schedule these last 3 games, but do not sleep on Mr. DeVito. They should roll. No, but that Cardinals game could be a sleeper. Kyler Murray could give them a lot of problems. This ain't the same Arizona team earlier in the year. That defense still sucks. Yes. But
I take the over on that one.
Kyler Murray. Yeah, that might be a really good call. So
speaking of that, before we get out of here, we want to thank y'all again for listening. Tyler, talk to me about what you're thinking bets wise this weekend.
Well, I mean, let's start off with tomorrow, and I'll just run through these, and then we'll give everyone our big juicy bets later this week. But like tomorrow night, Rams are right now laying 4.5 at home against the Saints. 70% of the tickets are on the Rams. At home, they're 4-3 against the spread. On the road, Saints are 2-4-1. I would have thought this would have been between 5 and 6, and it's at 4.5. So I feel like if you can get the Rams at 4.5 right now, I would do it. I think the line, it opened at 4.5, so it stayed there. So normally when a line stays, it's not a great sign when there's no movement whatsoever. But if you can get this at 4.5 or lower, at 4, jump on it. If you can get it at 4, jump on it. If it goes down to 3.5, bet the bank. But at 4.5, I still think it's a good bet. But yeah, that's that one. Which, by the way, I wanted to say Matt Stafford has officially, as of this week, entered the MVP discussion. He has a couple points now, so he's officially like number 8 on the list. So shout out to Matt Stafford. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh, laying 1.5. Is there something going on? Is Browning hurt? Like, did we miss something? Steelers are going to Mason Rudolph. At home, I get it. Your division dog at home under Tomlin. All the signs point to betting on the Steelers. But you want me to put my money on Mason Rudolph? I mean, this line, by the way, and we're not talking 3.5. This isn't 3.5, or maybe the magic number 2.5. We're 1.5 here. 71% of the tickets are on Cincinnati, and I don't know, man. That's fishy to me. 1.5, come on. All day. You go Cincy all day, 1.5. But what is this? You guys might want to go Pittsburgh. All right. Then you got the Bills at the Chargers, opened up at 13.5. It went down as low as 10.5, and then I think people jumped back on it. For Buffalo, it's back up to 12.5. Buffalo's going to take care of business there. Just, it really comes down to, if that stays at 12.5, probably take Buffalo. Once it hits 13, 14, you might want to stay away unless you're confident they're just going to roll them, which they very well could. They could steamroll them. Buffalo's hot right now. Easton Stick, it doesn't look like it. So we'll see, though. We'll see. You got Indy at Atlanta. Indianapolis is 1.5-point dogs. But this is, again, what I said earlier, week to week, right? Indianapolis coming off of a win. Atlanta coming off of a game they just lost to a 1-win team in the Panthers, yet they're the favorites against an 8-6 team that's fighting for the playoffs. Like, another line that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And if this helps, Indianapolis 4-2 against the spread on the road. Atlanta 2-5. When we're only talking 1.5 here, and Indy is getting the 1.5. You're giving Indianapolis 1.5 here. But Atlanta is going back to Taylor Heineke. Something to think about. So I'm not sure. I have to do a little more research on that one. I don't feel comfortable betting that one yet, but I'm leaning Indianapolis. Green Bay at Carolina. Green Bay is only laying 4.5, but it's at Carolina. Weather could be shitty. 74% of the tickets are on Green Bay. Do what you will with that one. Pass. Cleveland at Houston. Houston is getting 2.5. I might bet Houston on that one. If CJ Stroud is back, that plus 2.5 will change. Once he's announced the starter, that might go down to like a pick 'em. It might go down to 1.5, but it won't stay at 2.5. So if you guys think Stroud's playing this week, buy in at 2.5. Detroit at Minnesota. Opened at 3 and it's staying there. Detroit is 3-point favorites. Just because this is in a dome, I don't think it's a bad bet at all to take Detroit at -3. They're 5-2 on the road against the spread. Minnesota just 2-4 at home. They're sticking with Mullins. So I don't know. I like Detroit there. By the way, I'm not doing totals. I'm just going with the spreads here. Clearly, Washington at the Jets. This one's actually pretty close. 52% on the Jets, 48% on Washington. Washington are 3-point dogs in New York. 5-3 on the road. New York's 4-4 at home against the spread. The only thing here, and maybe the play in this one, honestly, is the under. I haven't brought the points up till this one. Opened up at 38. It's at 37.5. The play might be the under. As bad as Washington's defense has been, I don't trust Zach Wilson. I don't care if he put up 30 on Houston. Their defense is still good. teams have been starting to figure out Sam Howell. And I actually want to talk about through, and we were on the conversation of quarterbacks, like, we're just regular guys. We're just regular guys who like watching football. We might even love watching football.
Love it.
Love it, right? 3 things that we talked about this year. One of them not so
Our
much
heart
because
is on that field.
yeah. One has been the whole Taylor Heineke over Desmond Ritter thing. Couldn't understand it, right? Another thing that we talked about was Zappy over Mac Jones. Why did it take so long to get there? And if you just stuck with Zappy, like earlier in the year, I was like, wait, why isn't Zappy? Like, he's not even on the roster. I didn't understand it. It blew my mind. They signed him back to the practice squad, then put him back on the roster. Then eventually he takes Mac Jones' spot, and now clearly he's the better choice, and they're going to move on from probably both of them, but definitely move on from Mac Jones. And then the third, Jacoby Brissett, earlier in the year, which I'll give Sam Howell credit. He has played very well this year. I'll say he did a lot better than I expected, but I also thought that Jacoby Brissett was the better quarterback to start the season. So I had made comments of like, I don't get why they're starting Sam Howell over Brissett, and it makes sense, and it obviously wasn't a bad decision. Sam Howell's good, but Brissett came in last week when they took Sam Howell out because they wanted to protect him, and then Brissett came in, and in like the 10 minutes he played, he outgained. Maybe it was the end of the game, but still, like he did better than Sam Howell for 3 quarters.
Blown coverages,
but we'll take it.
No, but you take that upside. You take that upside with Sam Howell. He's the young kid. You got to see what you have in him. I mean, we know what Jacoby Brissett is at this point in his career. I don't think that's the spot where I think if Brissett was still in Cleveland, and they needed him to step in, that would have been a great role for him. Like, he could win games with that team. It's like, this team's ready to win now, so we just need the guy that's going to get it done. Like Atlanta, they're a team that's ready to win now. Let's just get the guy that's ready to lead our team. Washington, they're ways off. They're a fucking mess. We know how sloppy it is in Washington. Let the kid play, see what you have with him, see if you have your franchise quarterback or if you need to draft one in this upcoming draft. And I think they should feel good about what they have in Sam Howell, but he's got to clean up the turnovers. 17 turnovers now. He's tied for the most in the league. But they need to protect him. Their offensive line is absolutely garbage. They need to attack that this offseason with, I'm assuming, a new head coach. It would have to be a new head coach. Maybe it's Bieniemy taking over. He's already familiar with Howell, so maybe they just put him in as the head coach and see what he can do. Bring in a quality DC and let him run with it. But I want to go back to New England, talking about Zappy and Mac Jones. For me, I was like, bro, once your season got to a point where it's like, we're like, this is unwatchable. We're getting blown out every week.
Yeah.
You had Malik Cunningham on the practice squad, and they were paying him like an absurd amount of money for a guy that wasn't drafted, practice squad player. They were paying him an absurd amount of money. It's like, what was the point? Like, I saw him out there in a couple gadget plays, like 2 weeks out of the year. What do you have to lose? We talked about it earlier in the season with the Patriots. It's like, where do you go from here? What do you have to lose? Why not throw Malik Cunningham in there and just see what can happen? You know what I mean? We know what Mac Jones is. We know what Zappy is. I watched Malik Cunningham at Louisville, and the dude was a monster. And just like Lamar was, and they said Lamar wasn't going to be a good NFL quarterback. Just let me see Malik Cunningham out there. Like, you had nothing to lose, and now he's gone. The Ravens have him. So perfect place for him to be. I mean, you can't make this shit up. Literally the absolute perfect place for Malik Cunningham to be now. But I just feel like the Patriots fucked that situation up, but it is what it is.
Next, we got Seattle, still on the 1 o'clock slate. Last game on the 1 o'clock slate, Seattle at Tennessee. Seattle is only laying 2.5. This feels like a Tennessee play, to be honest with you. Tennessee 4-2 at home against the spread, but Seattle's 5-2 on the road. ATS, Vrabel home dog, though. Hard to go against them. That's a tough one. Pass for now. Hit the 4 o'clock slate. Got Jacksonville at Tampa as an underdog. Jacksonville is a 1.5 point dog at Tampa. They're 4-1 on the road ATS. Tampa's 2-4 at home ATS. Did something happen with Lawrence? They're playing in Tampa. It's just as much of a home game for Jacksonville as it is Tampa.
Oh, he's still in concussion protocol.
Oh, he is? Dude, I was gonna say I don't get. It's like what? They're getting 1.5. All right. I don't know. Dude, that's right. He did smack his head pretty hard. He got dragged down. Now it's ringing a bell. All right. Well, let's do an immediate pass on that one. But dude, if you get Jacksonville 1.5 and then Lawrence ends up playing, steal. All right. So continuing the 4:00 slate, you have Arizona at Chicago. Arizona 4.5 point dogs. That's honestly that's a tough call. With Chicago's second half, fourth quarter woes, I think Arizona has a really good shot at sneaking in the back door there. You might just end up using Chicago as a teaser in that one.
I'll take Chicago first half. Bet Chicago first half.
Good call. That's a good call. Next, you have Dallas at Miami. 58% is on Miami. Right now, Dallas is getting 1.5. They opened up at 1.5. It went as high as 2. If you got them at 2, I think you got really good value there. But again, they're not great on the road, just 3-4 ATS. Miami is 5-2. The health of Tyreek Hill is kind of still up in the air. I think that once Tyreek Hill is like confirmed definitely playing, I think you're going to see a lot of pro money come in on Miami, and then that will then probably bump that line back up to 2.5 even maybe. But you can really go either way here. The total is opened at 51.5, went down to 50.5. So I think people were taking the unders there. But the Sunday night game is New England in Denver. Kind of touched on that earlier, but Denver 6.5 point favorites here, 73% on them, 3-4 at home. New England's 2-4 on the road. ATS. Bailey Zappi and the Patriots are playing a lot better than they were 6 weeks ago. Denver, not so hot as they were 3 to 5 weeks ago. That's a tough one. That could be another teaser. So moving on, you got Vegas in Kansas City on Christmas Day. That's the 1:00 game there. Vegas opened at 10.5, and right now they are 10-point dogs. I kind of think that's too much, and 61% of the tickets are on Vegas. So maybe the public agrees, because I feel like if that was pro money, then this line would have moved a lot more than it has. It's only moved a half point, so that's got to be all public. Interesting one. I might go, if that line stays there at 10, I might go Vegas. 4:30 game, Giants at Philly. Philly is 11.5 point favorites. They're 2-2 ATS at home. Giants just 2-6 on the road ATS. 11.5 is a lot, though, especially with Philly playing as bad as they have played lately, and especially in the division. I think the Giants are the play at 11.5, but 65% of the tickets right now on Philly. To finish it off, to cap it off, the elite game of the week, Baltimore at San Fran. Earlier, I said I was kind of leaning Baltimore. They're 5.5 point dogs. Lamar Jackson as an underdog, I believe he's 11-2-1. I'm riding with the Ravens. 53% of the tickets on the Niners.
Lamar Jackson 19-1 against the NFC in his career.
Also, right. Add to it. The total is 46.5, but yeah, I don't know. San Francisco opened at 5, and now it's up to 5.5. So money came in on them. It's only 53% though of the tickets. So San Fran's only 3-3 ATS at home. Baltimore 4-2 on the road ATS. I don't know. I like 5.5 a lot. Yeah, I don't know. This could be one. I don't do this a lot, but this could be a money line spread where you go money line San Francisco and then take the Ravens spread, maybe tease it. just a touch. If you want to tease that from 5.5 to 7.5 or 8.5 to cover the one possession, you can do that. But I don't do that often, but I might do that.
Nah, it'd be an elite game if that were to hit. That's what we want.
Yeah, that's what we want. That's what we try to get. But yeah, we're gonna come out though later this week with our BJBs. That's the big juicy bets. Juicy. Excuse me. We're gonna probably give 5. That'll be our goal here moving forward. We're gonna try to give 5 every week for you guys, but yeah, we'll have those out later this week. For tomorrow night, though, I want to circle back to that Rams game, Pat. What do you got? How you feeling on them?
All over the Rams. I'll probably do a little same game parlay action, take a money line, and then I'll probably throw some prop bets in there for Kyron Williams. That's where my head's at right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what the lines are across the books. 4 is the best you're going to get. It's showing 4 right now. I don't know how true that holds because I was seeing 4.5, but maybe the lines have moved already. But yeah, like I said, 4 points, dude. Jump on the Rams. You get them at 4. I have no faith in the Saints. None.
Well, that is it for episode 17. Once again, we want to thank y'all for listening to the New Score podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Get at us on Instagram and Facebook. We hope everybody has a wonderful and Merry Christmas. We will see you guys next week. Goodbye.
Peace.
When I come to your city, I'm a new score. Broke your high score soon as I step through the door. Tryna stack my paper up like a bookstore. Money kissing each other like a rock and roll tour. When I come to your city, I'm a new score. Broke your high score soon as I step through the door. Tryna stack my paper up